Hi everyone. Now, I had a request for basically a muddler headed daddy longlegs or crane fly. So I thought, well, I wrote it down obviously. So I decided to tie one because there is a few daddies around at the moment, and especially in the lochs, and so even the river I've seen one or two. So that's a handy fly to have in your box when there flies around. The issue I had was finding a decent hook to suit a daddy longlegs on a long hook, on a kind of like a hook you would normally use, rather than use a detached bodied version. So I didn't have any. So what I decided to do was have a go at tying a jig head version. Now I have tied jig headed or jig head dry flies before. The mergers as well. They work. They really do work. So. This is a light wire version hook. As you can, this one here, it's got a jig force long. It's a 2x long, size 14. So nothing like a size 14, because a size 14 would be back here. So this is basically equivalent to like if it was a small streamer hook, it'd be a size 10 or so. The 2XL gives you an idea how long it is. Now, as I say, I tied a couple. I'll show you one here I tied. This is one here. Now as you can see, the dressing's mainly in the underside, so I want the hook to flip itself up, and by tying it a certain way, especially with the wing like this, that will encourage that and get the fly to flip round, and it will pull well, especially with the eye being up. So when you're pulling this, it'll act like a small lip, and it will draw the fly and cause a lot of disturbance if you want to pull. So something you can give a go. If you haven't got this hook, obviously, just use it in a straight hook and try it. And tie it as normal with the hook bend around the other way. But anyway, we're going to give it a go. As I say, it is a bit of fun. Now, thread I'm going to be using, I'm going to use a uni thread in a rusty brown. The other thing when you do, I'm actually going to tie one or two with an orange. This is dyed hot orange. As you can see, pheasant tail. Orange bodied daddy longlegs, for some reason, really work. So again, it's another variant of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with thread at the eye, but a layer of thread up to about, say, if you imagine a muddler head size, you'll need that in that area. So if you're taking it from there to there, so it's a good 6 mil or so. Now body can be anything really, as long as it's reasonably light to give the impression of the body. Or if you want to make it orange, then obviously hot orange. Now I'm going to rib it with a fine copper wire. This is basically a extra small wire. Now to encourage the hook to flip round, I'm going to take the dressing round the bend of the hook as well. So I'm just going to give them round. This will help. Basically a good 2 or 3 mil. Got my pheasant tail fibre here. Now I want quite a few fibres because I need to spread it, or I need to get from there to here. So I need a few fibres. I tie these in very close to the tip so it tapers out. So pull that right in as close as you dare go to the tips of the fibres, then you come up. All the way up to, as I say, a muddler head length away from the eye. I'm going to bring the pheasant tail fibre towards myself, because it is the weakest fibre. And now if I bring the wire the normal way I wind my thread, it will protect it far better. Now by having a few fibres, you see it's quite wide, it covers really quick and keeps it thin. Once you get near the ends here, it gets a bit thick. So to tie it off, because the way you tied it on, or wound it on, sorry, come over with a turn on the hook, do the same again, and again, and trim these away at the waist. Now we bring our wire the same way we wind our thread, all the way up. This will protect your pheasant tail fibre, and then secure it in, nice and tight, and then bend and break away. Just see how it will like tidy things up a wee bit. I like to keep the body reasonably thin, I don't like it too thick. Now the legs, obviously pre-knotted pheasant tail legs. We've got one or two. I like them quite long, so just going to grab half a dozen here. There's a couple of broken ones in this. Bring it out 90 degrees from the stem. Tips should line up. Now I'm going to exaggerate, obviously. There is 6 legs on the daddy long legs. To separate them here. So what I'm going to do here, because I'm going to want them on the upside, I'm going to basically tie them with the, I'm going to use the shank of the hook to separate at least 3 either side. There's an extra one there, but I'm just going to leave it. You want a good length. You want the fibres down either side of the shank, tie them there, just pull them up these ends, that will separate them. You see how there's fibres on either side, this will help to separate them. And then what I like to do is figure 8 through them. Just bring some thread turns between the legs. Just helps to keep them apart slightly. There's one here. Just take your time. You could put a wee bit of dubbing through. I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. So we trim away the waste. Any kind of dubbing. I've got some natural dub here. This is this Euro nymph dubbing from Full and Willow. Just going to lightly dub it on and then come between the legs. Just a light, not too much. Just helps keep them apart. There you go. You can untie these things up at the same time. These will lay back once you start to cast them. They'll lay back anyway, but they will keep apart a wee bit better. Now I'm using a dyed. This is a dyed brown. This is just a. It's a bleached and dyed deer hair. This one I think came from Wapsie. So it's quite a nice hollow hair. This type of fibre you'd use on bombers and such like. So quite a coarse deer hair. It's strong. You cut it close to the skin. Just take away any underfur and put it in to my stacker. Now before I do that, I'm going to actually put some wings on. Now the wings could be practically anything really. I've got some natural grey hackle fibre, hackles here. These are cock hackles. I'm actually going to use the larger ones from the top. You could use the smaller ones at the base, but these are slightly wider. So you'll see the colour. So I'm just going to line up the ends, laying one on top of the other. You can make a space. And then we can tie them on when they're quite long. I'm just using the shank of the hook to separate them. Come around with 3 or 4 turns just to see how they're sitting. Just check my length. As you can see, I've turned the hook upside down obviously. Screw them in. You don't have to be too fussy with these. I'm going to fold these back. Nice base of thread down. Just going to break these ends away or cut them away. Just bring them off and you can see how they sit. Very leggy, obviously. It helps to float the fly. So now what we're going to do is put in our deer hair. We go back to our stacker. Just tap it on your desk. Get the lens lined up. It's fine. A couple of broken ends in here. You can actually easily move them. It's fine. Make sure you wax your thread. You may want to use a heavier thread if you feel the deer hair wants it. Now I just want this on the top as a wing, as part of the wing, but if you're having it on, sorry, on top, it's on the top here, but it's on the underside of this hook. This will help flip it round, you see. So half the length of the wing anyway, but bring these ends right down and underneath, and then come round with a couple of turns, and then tighten up, and then wind through these ends. nice and tight. So basically what you've got here is like an elk hair wing on top. Now I'm actually going to add in a wee drop more, so I'll go back. Don't need much. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the hollow ends. And again, just put that in the centre. Hold it there, come round with a couple of turns, tighten up, and then wind through the cut ends, just holding these tapered ends, but wind down one turn in front of the other. Now you could fill that up, but I don't want to fill it up. So I draw back the fibres, and then sort of tidy that area, and then I'm going to whip finish, nice and tight. Then the first thing I'm going to do is trim, but I'm going to bring out some of the deer here, especially down here. Now I want this quite, especially the underside, to be more flat rather than round like I would get in the top. So, but what I'm going to do, I've got a curved pair of scissors, it's a fine pair. You have to be brave when you do this. And then trim. And then you just work your way around. The eye is going to get in the way a wee bit, but just be patient. Work your way around. The good thing about this fly, if you're tying it for yourself, you tie it to suit yourself. Like I'm doing that. I'm not following my own rules. As I say, it's just tying this bit here. Now you can trim away some of the deer on the underside, or you can leave it. I would leave it at first. You can always take some off if you feel it's overdone. You can always trim away when you're even on the water. You could use your scissors just to take some of the materials off. All I'm doing here is get the cut ends and bringing them out, and then work my way around. Now there is a point where you're going to have to take off the deer here, because I want to put an edge around it to get into it. So what I like to do is just come here and then come in with my scissors, square up these ends, give it a fringe as we want to call it. And then if you feel you want to, as I say, trim some away underneath, you can do that, but you can still see the body there. It looks fine. Just bring it out a wee bit. That wee bit of flash at the back there is really nice. The orange body is nice as well. So there we are. That's your daddy long legs with the tied on the jig hook anyway. I'll put this back in normal. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put some varnish on all the way around. Don't be shy, make sure it soaks in a wee bit. And there we are. Now, as I say, the fly is going to sit basically upside down. Because of the way it's tied, it will go either way, but to be honest with you, the way it's tied, it will encourage it will sit. So basically, so it's like this on the water, and when you're pulling it, especially with the jig head, it will encourage that. So it will. I've tied many a dry fly like this, and it works, especially muddlers. And a wee rapala knot, kind of ring knot, or whatever knot you want to call it. Just taking off a couple of loose ends there. So there we are. As I say, it is a bit of fun, but it's serious fun because I'm going to give it a go. As I say, this will sit on the water like this. So it will, and as you pull it, it will certainly cause a lot of disturbance. That's what muddler's for. And we'll see how it goes. As I say, there's no really way to get my wee tweezers here. to hold it. This is what it's going to look like. So basically it's going to sit like this. You could make it a wee bit lighter with the deer hair on the top as well. There's lots of ways you could mess about with this pattern. As I say, it was a bit of fun, so I hope you enjoyed that, and again, thanks for watching.